Welcome, welcome. We have another match for you. It's Zoran from Terrible Damage along with Yarko.
I return to serve.
Excellent. And here in the upper left of Ohana is a Red Zerg. Pneumonia.
Better than bronchitis.
And in the bottom right, our blue Protoss player, Petrol.
Not quite gas.
Not quite, indeed. We're on Ohana LE. This was introduced a couple seasons ago. We've got rocks in between the third, but fortunately not on top of the third because everyone hates that.
Except Dustin Browder.
Yes, and his new destructible rocks in Heart of the Swarm allow you to create your own destructible rocks during the game, and that's not really a joke. That's an actual thing, sort of. You knock them
Fun for
down.
the whole family.
Yeah, I actually really like this map for Protoss, especially versus, well, actually, just in any matchup. Not all that difficult to take 3 bases. It's a little open at the third, but that's not too big of a deal. Really hard to attack into the Protoss. Very hard to do multi-pronged harass or anything. So, and there are a lot of tight chokes around the map, so that works out pretty well. We have a pylon block here at the natural by the Protoss player, and is just going to get out of there. Not going to go for any sort of double pylon block blocking the third.
Yeah, it looks like pretty standard Forge Fast Expand for Petrol and a standard 14 pool for Pneumonia as well. So nothing too crazy going on yet.
Yeah, we have an Overlord head behind the main, which will be nice later in the game, and one out in front. I actually like reversing that, having that first Overlord up front, since you're not going to need the Overlord behind the main for quite a bit. But actually this second Overlord will go behind the natural to spot for those 2 gases. That will indicate later in the game what's going on. But we have a double gas steal here from I've never seen this from a Zerg.
I guess that's the response to getting your natural blocked.
Yeah, this is gonna. Well, that natural is greatly delayed. Lings are just going to be coming out now, but you have to send out 2 drones to do that. So that's
kind of hits your economy a little bit.
He
Yeah.
canceled and remade it rather than just letting those finish.
Yeah, kind of a strange choice.
Yeah, if you're going to go for the double gas block, I mean, you're committing by that point. No reason to be canceling and reading. I see no benefit to doing that. No, he's going to get the drones and leave. That really is, frankly,
kind of pointless.
Yeah, because it's a Forge Fast Expand, so he won't be taking any gas until about now. So, he'll take those in the main, or he could have just waited and taken them at the natural. Now he's double gas blocking the natural for some reason.
It's definitely not going to be used for quite a while, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe he just really wants his Protoss player to do like a 4 or 6, like 4 gate pressure or 6 gate all in, one or the other. I'm not sure. We've got the 6 Zerglings sitting out in front, actually 5, one running back to poke around, and a double expand out of Zerg, not too unexpected. Though now taking double gas. That's really early double gas back. He likes taking 2 gas at a time.
All the gases.
The 2 gas at the natural complete. So that could actually hinder a build order. Like if you just straight up did that and they wanted to do some sort of 4 gas play or even blink stalker, 7 gate blink later in the game, which would be a 3 gas build, that could screw up the timings with that.
Yeah, not so much with the Forge Fast Expand though. And looks like he did actually do a double extractor trick on his own guys, so those are now gone again. But he
canceled those, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting to get, well, there's the second gas from Protoss. He has the 1 Zealot working on these down here. Thanks to this double gas block, it's going to be pretty hard to tell what the Protoss is doing for quite a bit. I really don't know what to think about canceling it repeatedly in the main was pointless, but I'm interested I'm intrigued by the gas block of the natural taking 2. blocking 2 of them. Probably not worth it for the 2 drones, but it definitely screws things up from the Protoss' side a bit.
Yeah, not unless you pretty much know that your opponent gets really flustered by that kind of thing. That's the only way that you really gain an advantage from doing something like that.
Yeah, you can potentially bait in a gateway all-in, as I said, so if you're like really hoping that is it, then maybe. In terms of worker counts at this point, 34 to 30, so should be overtaking the Protoss player relatively soon. Still not...
Yeah. See an evolution chamber and a roach worm down for pneumonia, as well as ground weapons level 1 for our Protoss player.
Yeah, those are relatively normal timings for that roach warren and evo chamber at about 6 minutes. So now mining gas from the 2 geysers. So those were normal timings for a gasless 3 triple expand. From the Zerg, though, the double extractor trick thrown in there just for good measure. So we do have a robo coming up from our Protoss player along with 3 more gateways, so 6 gates and a robo. So at this point in the game, it's probably going to be just getting a few immortals and expanding to the 3rd. It'd be kind of tough to do a immortal push this late.
Yeah, it looks like the army sizes are about equal, and the Zerg is actually ahead in harvesters by a little bit, so kind of surprising there. I guess the 3rd base did help them out quite a bit.
Yeah, the harvesters definitely have, like, it's a big problem if Zerg's not ahead in harvesters at this point in the game. The onus is on the Protoss to make a difference in that. So we're going to start to get an idea of what both sides are going in for. We do see immortals coming out from the Protoss player layer, coming up from the Zerg, as well as a macro hatch. So looking pretty good there. Now what the Zerg so far doesn't really have is a good idea. Oh, he actually did get vision of that robo. Okay, so he has a good idea of what's coming at him.
And it looks like Petrol is now moving out with quite a sizable army down his ramp. Yeah, he does seem kind of paused his ramp for a bit there, but it looks like he is going to possibly head over to that 3rd.
Yep, 10 roaches in production now. With just the 1 immortal and 1 sentry, I don't really see this doing a lot of damage. The production of the roaches is quite late, though, so that could be a problem. But he doesn't really have a lot in the way of anti-roach within his army. That's what I'm saying about doing this push this late, is it probably shouldn't work. And 15 more roaches on the way. A few more warpins aren't really going to help that. The longer he waits, the better this is going to be for Pneumonia. It actually runs into the unit, so this will help out, throwing away a few roaches there. He wants to only engage this on creep if the Protoss player decides to push in.
Yeah, more units coming out for the Zerg. I was about to say the same thing, actually. You shouldn't really be sitting right on the edge of creep with those roaches. So.
We have a warp in here in the back of the main. 5 zealots running into the mineral line. Not sure why he warped in 1 stalker, but there you go. Gets distracted by that queen. Focus fires down some units, but here comes the big engagement outside of the natural. Not going to focus down that immortal. Just going to take this head on. A good concave, but not quite enough roaches to take that down at this point in time, but 13 more on the way.
Yeah, Petrol a little bit late on those force fields as well, but it looks like he will still clean this up and kill off those roaches. Yeah, 13 more about to pop out.
Yeah, the 2-pronged fighting on 2 fronts is really hurting the Zerg, who is accidentally firing on his own Evo chamber there for a little bit. Takes out an Overlord for good measure, but not anywhere near supply. Blocked a lot of roaches here in the main if he's now bringing those and collecting them up.
Yeah, surprisingly, that drop them back didn't actually hurt the harvester count too much. Still, 50 drones to 41 for the Zerg player.
Weren't too many killed, and this is going to be problematic because he's going to lose these stalkers. He's trying to take a 3rd, and if the Zerg counter pushes with a lot of roaches, he is not going to be able to hold, or he's going to have a very difficult time at the least. Do we have roach speed, though. We do, yeah, that is complete now.
Yeah, and Petrol now going for Templar Archives, which kind of seems like a strange choice with so many roaches.
Yeah, later, in any late game scenario, you're going to add that on for Archons if you don't have a Dark Shrine, but this early in the game it is a bit of an odd choice, particularly because he knows for certain that he's not rushing Lair. He does not even have an infestation pit, I don't believe.
And looks like Pneumonia is now going to go for the counterattack like you said.
Yeah, nothing up at the natural. Everything down here at the third where he is going to push, but this is a lot of roaches to try and hold off here. If he just focused down that one pylon, both cannons, as well as the one warping in, will be taken out.
Yeah, but double the army size for Pneumonia right now, so it looks like he is going to lose his space.
Yeah, he should be ahead in army supply at this point in the game. I really feel like not focusing down that pylon was a big mistake there, taking way too much damage from the cannons. And
yeah, he was kind of dancing around, moving his roaches rather than just sitting and attacking, which would have saved him some losses, I think.
Yeah. So that could have gone a bit better. His resources banking up quite a bit. They're going to make 12 more roaches. Now the problem is if you let the Protoss get a good Sentry Immortal count, it can be very hard to attack into it. But so far he just has... not waiting for those extra roaches, just moving in with that same small force. So that
and Petrol's Immortal count now building up, so it's just going to get harder and harder. I think you should just kind of retreat for a while here, although he is building up more roaches now.
140 supply to 85. Now, the Zerg should have a big supply advantage at this point in the game. It's going to split up and attack on two fronts. Just a few roaches up here at the front. Now moving in with the roaches at the back. A big warp and a stalker is going to be taken out quite quickly. The cannon's going to do a lot of damage, but they don't hold up without anything to delay attacks here.
Quite a lot of chrono boost saved up for Petrol as
from those roaches, turns around again, taking a lot of extra damage, and then attacking again. It's kind of all over. A bunch of roaches out here in the middle of the map, not doing anything. Banked up 2,000, 1,000 in resources, and the supply now in the Protoss's favor due to not really producing much at all. If we look at the larva count, there are 17 larvae available, so he could be producing from those. So after all that, it does look like Petrol is in quite a good position.
Yeah, strangely, the Zerg player seems to be working on Zerg melee attacks level 2, but hasn't actually even got level 1 for his roaches, so you think he's going to switch into something Zergling heavy in the later game, or?
Yeah, this has become more popular to go usually roach laying in the mid-game and skipping upgrades on the roaches altogether in favor of Zerglings, so that you can easily make that Ling Muta switch if you want, or just save a bit of gas.
It does look like he's now researching pathogen glands. He's got a spire that's gone down as well as hives, so it looks like that will be the transition that he's going to take there.
Now, pushing out again, this could be a bit dicey. The supply is about even, and you never want that. As Zerg now, the Warp Prism moving up here to the third, drops one Zealot, not really doing anything at the moment, and then backs off. So a single Zealot dropped. If handled properly, these Queens could take it out. Maybe a little support from the drones, but just send back some Zerglings instead. We do have a fourth almost done.
Yeah, and 5 Spine Crawlers going down from the Zerg as well, maybe feeling a bit vulnerable, not sure where those drops are going to go.
We do have Psy Storm coming up, but I don't think we're going to be seeing mutas. Looks like he's going to be morphing that Greater Spire as soon as that hive is done. You line up building both of those at the same time, they finish up at the same time. And there it is, Greater Spire on the way.
And it looks like Pneumonia is gearing up to do something with his Zerg, and it's not really a good idea. Quite an army favor in favor of Petrol at the moment.
Yeah. Bit of harass with the run by. Going to try and focus down the third Nexus. Petrol not focusing on the Zergling, so going to be quite close. 7 goes down with just a second to spare. He did have a fourth going up at the right, but that is only halfway done, so that is a big win. However, that may prompt a push, which isn't really what Pneumonia wants right now. He wants to get to Broodlords, and that Great Spire is not yet done.
Yeah, but he does have quite a few spine crawlers as well as infestors with about half their energy sitting at that kind of choke in the middle of his bases there.
We have the Warp Prism in phase mode over behind the 4th. Looks like he's going to lose an Overseer and a couple Overlords in the middle of the map. Nothing warped in over at the 4th as of yet. This Observer has been sitting here all game, giving vision outside of the natural and 3rd. Still there. Still nothing warped in at the 4th.
Kind of an interesting choice to put change them in the army. That's kind of a good idea there, then you can see exactly where it's moving without directly having to keep an eye on it. So
here comes the warp in of Harass. A couple sentries and 2 zealots warped in. Blocking in the drones, though they could just go out the back. Looks like he's going to get the queen. The drone's running away. Nothing being pulled over to defend against this. Just going to wait for the spine crawlers, which are going to start to be focused down by these zealots.
Yeah, and it looks like 7 Broodlords now popping out. Petrol is a bit light on the Stalkers, but he does have those High Templars, so I'm not sure how they're going to hold up against those. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe there is a Stargate on the field right now, so quite a ways to get to a mothership. So this army is really ill-prepared to deal with these Broodlords, despite the great supply advantage. Not a huge number of Stalkers to be able to blink onto them. But with this bank, I'd like to see more gateways added on.
Yeah, we've now got, basically, the Protoss has 4 bases, and the Zerg is now reduced to 3, so it's going to be a bit hard to come back for the Zerg at this point, it looks like.
Yeah, it's really about pushing with these Broodlords right now. There's pretty much a timing window. You have to attack with those before Mothership, or it gets a lot harder with that Vortex. The problem is he doesn't really have a supporting army for them. He has some infestors, but not really anything else. So it's going to be very tough if he moves out and the Stalkers want to blink under.
Yeah, nothing really is a buffer in between them.
Going up for a huge Broodlord count, already at 12, morphing in 5 more, going to be up to 17.
It looks like we might have an engagement here, just kind of facing off at the edge of creep there. Petrol sending 1 High Templar. Looks like he got a glimpse of those Broodlords, so just going to sit tight for a minute.
No real way to attack into those Broodlords under the Spine Crawler, with the Spine Crawlers underneath. Not really any way to deal with that, but there is a Stargate finished now. Fleet Beacon on the way, as well as a Dark Shrine.
Yep, 72 Zerglings now popping out, so it looks like he's going to go for this with the 72 Zerglings.
Yet nearing max, a big spread out here from Petrol. Really needs to just back off. He can't engage this army. Though the Broodlord's wandering off, gets blinked under. He actually doesn't have enough Stalkers here to fight the Broodlords straight up. Even with the storms, they aren't really clumped. So it'll take a lot more than that. But kind of weird engagements and stutter stepping out of Pneumonia. Something we saw earlier in the game with the Roaches. But again, not enough Stalkers here to deal with this army. So I didn't like the choice there to engage. It looks like Petrol's army will be completely eliminated here.
Yeah, it looks like units lost is actually, in terms of resources, it's only slightly in the Zerg's favor there. So he does have, the Protoss does have 10 more workers than the Zerg at this point as well. So certainly still anybody's game, although now all those Zerglings headed towards Petrol's 4th base. Looks like he might lose that again.
Yeah, no way to stop that. So that will go down. The space in the upper right, very, very important at this point, because that will be his only mining base in just a minute. Brood
Yeah,
Lords.
now
Yep, laying siege
Mothership.
on natural.
Yeah, Mothership now coming out for Petrol. Looks like it will be too little too late at this point now.
Yeah, too many Brood Lords here. Along with the Infestor support, there's not really any way to deal with them, though. Brood Lords, you always have to be careful with them. So he's just going to want to build up as many Blink Stalkers as he can. He's trying to Chrono Boost out the Mothership, but it won't have energy for a Vortex. So the only thing he should be counting on there would be the actual cloaking, and hopefully his opponent doesn't have an Overseer nearby to be able to deal with it. Whole bunch of Infested Terrans going out, though.
Yeah, it looks like he probably is going to lose all of those gateways and slowly push his way into that base. Really has Petrol kind of cornered in the back of his base at this point.
Yeah, killing the Forbes canceled the upgrade. Mothership just about going to come out. Oh, he's going to focus fire the Nexus. The Mothership. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. No! It doesn't get out. 2 seconds away. And that has got to be it. 170 supply to 113 and supply blocked. We still have 13 Broodlords on the field. The DT's doing some damage. The Infestors, not enough energy for a fungal. So they are able to go to town, but nothing to kill these Broodlords right now.
Yeah, Petrol does have quite a bit of minerals banked up, but now obviously as all those production facilities now going down, so it's going to be quite hard to get back from this one, it looks like. Strange to see the Zerg is actually not expanding behind this. I'm not sure if he's just confident or too focused on attacking, but we'd like to see him take some more bases at this point as well, and kind of sick.
Yeah, he's not able to take the fourth because the DT is there preventing it. Actually losing a lot of drones here. So if somehow Petrol could manage to take out the army of Pneumonia, he'd be still in a very good position. The problem is that Broodlord army. Again, trying to get out that Mothership, and we do have 2 Archons, so with Pneumonia not pressing here, he may give Petrol a chance to toss a Hail Mary to come back in this one. Having to rebuild the Cybernetics core to even build any Stalkers, that is rough.
Yeah, both players basically, all the workers dead at this point, so it's basically, Zerg is now out of minerals, but Petrol has 2,000 left, about equal supply it looks like, so this is now pretty much anybody's game. Obviously, Pneumonia has that quite a large army, but if he does get out the correct units, Petrol might be able to come back.
Oh man, there's a DT here. There are only 7 drones left. If he could get all 7 drones, then Pneumonia can't build another hatchery. Or another drone. He only has 4 minerals right now.
Yeah.
Here comes the big Broodlord Corruptor army. 16 Broodlords, 8 Corruptors. The Mothership is out though. Not enough energy for a Vortex. Needs 30 more. We do have an Overseer with the army, so he is able to attack. Has to be careful. Does not want to clump those up to take any Archon shots. Oh, loses an Archon. That is rough. He really needs those. And looks like Petrol is out of time. There are still DTs back at home. The only thing that I can see Petrol doing at this point is using those DTs to try and take out all the buildings.
Yeah, Petrol is building a new base in his 4th, but there is a change on there that's already aware of it, so not much there.
Yeah, he has 23 probes, but they're all over here at this base getting destroyed. So once again, not sure anything left that can be done. We do have the DT running in. Will it be picked off by those spies? No, it gets into the main. But there are spies there too, so...
Yeah, as well as the spore crawler, so it's gonna die right on it.
Yeah. Gave an effort, has pretty much nothing left. Just mining here. at this final base, building more gateways, but nothing he can do to this Broodlord army. We have 4 drones remaining. We still have a DT on the field running around. Really all about the broods at this point.
Yeah, the Broodlord's now arriving at the last base left, so he's going to be revealed after this, and that would be pretty much it.
Yeah, hard to make this dramatic. We've got 16 Broodlords on the field against 1 Stalker and 1 High Templar, and 4 DTs. Can't shoot up unless they morph into an Archon. Changelings being dropped. Looks like this may go down to just killing buildings at this point. Not sure what Pneumonia has, what Petrol has in mind for dealing with this. 4DT's gonna move in, gonna try and focus down spies. Here we go, he's going for the base race. Actually, he's doing quite a good job with this. So he is going to try what I said and focus down buildings with DTs.
Yeah, surprised Pneumonia isn't working some more detection right now. You could possibly save that base though.
DTs are so slow. Does he have any other units on the field other than Broodlords? No, only 2 Queens. So these are all of his buildings, but I don't think he can get through 3 Spines and 2 Queens with this. Oh, he does have the High Templar with Storm as well. Oh, 1 Queen goes down. That hurts because he would have had a transfuse. But the final buildings here, we've got 3 buildings over here in the bottom left for Petrol. Is Pneumonia paying attention? He has to... Oh, he's going to turn around. Oh, he splits up. That is a good choice. Finally decided to split up.
Yeah, he does actually have an overseer over top of those 3 spines now, so hopefully he can hold that, but probably not going to get to those 3 buildings in time.
Now, there are 2 drones. He should be going right now to make extractors on the other side of the field with those 2 drones. There are no probes, so Protoss cannot make any more. Looks like he will get this final spine crawler. So there are corruptors. He can't morph a Broodlord right now. That's unfortunate. These 2 drones really need to go build other bases. I mean, he should kill these buildings in the bottom left.
Yeah, it looks like he should get them in time. 1 left.
And that's it. That was the final building, and Petrol is knocked out of the game. Now that is never say die for you.
World's smallest base race.
Yes. With no ground units.